Nintendo! They're very exciting times, with quite exciting times. In case, you know, VOD watchers be VOD watching today, as I'm streaming this, we had the Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch 2, which does in fact seem to just be called the Nintendo Switch 2. Interesting choice on several layers there. But yeah, oh, I gotta blow my nose. I was all in Pig's Discord talking about how we probably wouldn't get any like big game reveals for this, but fucking then they were like, it's an hour long, and I was like, okay, well fucking say that beforehand, and then maybe I will know that, yeah, there's probably gonna be some games there. Silksong this year, they did show Silksong. I don't actually know if they showed any. I don't know if anything they showed of Silksong was new, because it was the 5-second clip that just said Silksong 2025. So that's very fun. But Silksong fans are happy because there is some confirmation the game even exists. Speaking of things that exist, Bloodborne doesn't. I keep having to blow my nose. I am one of few Bloodborne fans who are completely okay. Not that Sony hasn't done it, like, it should get a port to PC. The Elden Ring will exist on Switch 2, which, fingers crossed. I mean, it does look like a powerful system. It looks about as powerful as any handheld has ever been, which is very fun. So hopefully that means Elden Ring will have no problem running on it. There is also the fact that in the Direct they were like, we're promising 120, like, I've talked about frame rates before just because I'm an animator and I'm like, I'm okay with 30 frames, but Nintendo on the Switch usually sticks to 30 frames per second, which is on the lower end of game frame rates. And even then, a lot of the games are very stuttery. They drop frames a lot, yada yada yada. They're jumping up all the way to 120 on the Switch 2. So hopefully with stuff like that, you know, a PS5 or what have you game that's like that we just want like 1080 60 frames per second, like, hopefully that'll have no problem running. Yeah, really cool. There are some things I'd like to talk about real quick. The first is the parrot. Oh, someone did do a parrot. I apologize, Pig. I didn't see that. Okay, well, I'll do this. I'll get this out before I talk what I was going to talk about. Parrot. So I do want to talk about this image because it was making me cry at work. Not because of like, oh, it's so beautiful, oh, I'm emotional. No, this is hilarious. This is stupidly hilarious. If you're wondering what you're looking at, they have confirmed the next Mario Kart game, which is going to be called Mario Kart World, and is a massive. I hate that I have to say massive open world, but it is, and that looks cool. Like, you know, like, I feel like that's such buzzwords that mean nothing and do not promise a good game. But you know, a new Mario Kart, which kind of has a free roam mode, real cool. But also it has a lot more racing spots. So they have, in that trailer alone, they have revealed some of the creatures that will be helping fill those spots. most of to say these are tertiary Mario characters would be doing tertiary Mario characters a disservice. These are at best background animals we have seen in some games. Let's go through this right now because I want to count. Do y'all want to count with me? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Nope. 6. I'm gonna go with 6. Can we zoom in? I mean, that's not really a great idea, but I can do like some of this. But yeah, so I believe only 6 of these racers have arms. The rest of them do not have arms. They what was I thinking of? I don't understand how they're driving a car. This is hilarious. Like, let's be so clear. This is very funny, but this was featured prominently in the trailer. Is that you can race as a Moo Moo now? This random dolphin floating a foot off a bike is in fact not something that was heavily featured. And yeah, I will say I think these two right here, Moo Moo and Cat Quack, these ones people are excited for. If for no other reason that they are just silly little guys, and people are just like, oh fuck yeah. I mean, like I feel like the general reaction to this cast of new characters is that this is so stupid, and I love that. But these two in particular, I think people are just like, oh, well, I have to race as them now. So that's great. I love that. maybe I will give I'm planning to play as Cat Quack, but maybe I'll give just the Dolphin a try when the game comes out. Ugh. Sorry, my nose is all stuffy. My bad. But yeah, speaking of, Kingfisher did jump ahead of me a bit, because I would like to watch one of the new game trailers with y'all, which, let me get rid of this real quick, which I have right here. Oh lord. Killing my computer. There we go. Hello? I was about to say, why is it getting so choppy there? Oh, it just loves to be choppy in general. Sounds like my power supply. Well, the point is, we got a new Kirby Air Ride called Kirby Air Riders, which I have not played the original Kirby Air Ride. I believe we have talked before about people being like, it's great. It's not much of single player stuff, but I like it. So I'm very excited about it. I feel like one reason I wanted to play the trailer is because I love that moment where Kirby's falling on the Power Star and he just goes like just hitting it, trying to get it to work. That's very good. And also, it is going to be directed by Masahiro Sakurai, who created Kirby. So after hearing that, I was like, also let me bring back music. Give me
City
one sec.
Trial?
City Trial? Spaghetti City Trial? Oh my goodness.
I don't get my hopes up like that.
but also hello Stealth.
If there's a weirdly spaghetti-oriented section in Kirby Air Riders,
I mean there is
I would die.
I don't know if it's I think it's spicy curry, not spicy pasta, but they could have a pasta themed power up in Kirby Air Riders. You don't know. But so oh my goodness, my allergies are killing me today. Ugh, let me get it. But yeah, so it's gonna be directed by Sakurai. He created Kirby, obviously. Oh, go on.
You could tell it was gonna be Sakurai by just like the opening of that trailer. It was
That is-
very like it was very Sakurai coded.
It was very dramatic, which is he likes to get a bit of drama in there, and we love him for that. But I mean, like weirdly, in comparison to that, when I saw that, there's a bit of me that was nervous because like Sakurai hasn't directed a Kirby in a while, and since he's been doing other stuff, Kirby has evolved to do different stuff. We got Return to Dreamland, we got Star Allies, we got Forgotten Land, both in like what you expect a Kirby to play like, and writing, which you know everyone, the whole other topic is that, but writing of a Kirby, like it has become a new thing. That I'm just like, I hope we are not going backwards when Sakurai comes back. But I looked up like his directing credits on games because you know, director Sakurai. So in terms of Kirby, he has done Kirby Adventure and Crystal Shards, which I mean those even by today's standards, those are fantastic Kirby games. I love them. I mean, in terms of like lore and writing and stuff, Crystal Shards is the one with 0-2 in it. So maybe we will not be short on cosmic horrors in Air Riders, even though I don't expect this game to have much of a story. But in relation to that, games he's directed since his last Kirby game, which was the previous Air Ride, was like Kid Icarus and Smash Ultimate, and like thinking about the campaigns of those games and what it would mean for Air Riders if it even has a fraction of what those kinds of games had to offer in terms of a single player experience. It has me very excited to see what he might do as a with a new Kirby Air Rider. So I am excited for it. Again, I haven't played the original, but I am very excited for it. But yeah, so that's all my. There's new Donkey Kong, but I'm not the biggest Donkey Kong guy. I do like his new model and stuff.
It looks so good.
I know. It's. I was saying. So this is what. So I mean, like, okay. Let me talk about this here because I don't want to leave it on this. But it's important to talk about. People are talking about price. I literally saw one guy who I watch sometimes post a video saying Nintendo's so greedy. And I get it.
Oh, critical.
Yes. I wasn't gonna be like, this man, target this man. I know I have like 5 followers. I know. Listen.
I mean, he's not.
He's not raw. No. But what I wanted to say, one, I think Pig posted a thing being like, adjusting for inflation, this is actually kind of what games cost. That's besides the point.
It does all come back to capitalism.
Yeah. That's besides the point. I am definitely of the mind of like, people shouldn't have to pay $80 to $100 for a new game. Let me get my stance so clear. I am almost certainly, you could almost certainly say I agree when it comes to, you know, that, hey, it shouldn't be this much. Especially like a new AAA game, fine. A new Mario Kart, even if that's considered a AAA game. But it's like the reason I'm giving all these buts right now is because I'm not letting it really diminish my excitement for the whole thing. Like, there's a lot going on right now, and like, yeah, that's going to affect prices, yada yada yada, da 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 da. I'm just excited for the new thing, and hopefully
I will be shilling for Big Momo.
yeah, well, like, I think it will be completely okay if some people are like, I need to get this on launch. That's fine. My plan is to wait for a lot of these things to go on sale, and people are like, oh, Nintendo's used copies. Used copies exist, and they're typically much cheaper, especially when it's a new game that someone, brought to a local game store and was like, I don't want this anymore. Like, that means they slap like $10 or $20 off of it. So, and I do.
So you're back to the price of a normal game.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think if like enough games of that price point kind of, fall flat on their face on release, which will be sad if it's a franchise that hasn't gotten a game in a while, it'll probably send the message of just like, hey, people aren't going to pay for this. And also, it kind of brings me back to like Monster Hunter Wild stuff, because like that game doesn't run well on PC and everything, and a bunch of next gen technologies, yada yada yada. I think maybe companies should be okay with being like, okay, let's scale back on what a new game looks like, so that way we're not bleeding people dry and also not crashing computers when we release it. You know what I mean? Like, I like maybe we just stick with some older tech for now until everything becomes a bit more affordable. That's my advice to.
Look better.
Yes, that's my advice to developers, and I think we've talked on stream me and stuff like boycotts don't work. Again, I think if enough $80 games have a very like lukewarm to negative release on like their opening weeks and everything, I think that will send a message. What's that?
Specifically on their guaranteed IPs.
Yeah.
Things that they always count on for a resounding success.
Then that will send enough of a message for them to be like, okay, maybe we don't do that. But like, yeah, that's my opinion. It's like, it does not diminish my excitement for the new stuff, but I do think, what I do think it means is I will be waiting a while to get it, and I hope that sends the message of, hey, I'm not paying as much for that. I'm not shilling out all my cash for a new game, especially when like another thing announced today was Deltarune, and that's probably still like $10, and it was probably one of the biggest announcements at the Direct. So it's like, like a great time to get into retro and indie games. That's what I'm saying. But again, like, chances are at some point once I save up and maybe as like a combined like Christmas birthday present, I'll be getting a Switch 2, and then probably getting Air Riders. That's on my top list, and Mario Kart at some point. But yeah, I am as excited as I am ironically hoping they have small releases to send the message that people are not going to be paying too much for games like this. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to say about Donkey Kong though was that it is a 3D Donkey Kong, but rather than remind me of 64, it reminds me of Jungle Beat, because it looks like an acid trip, and that is a good description of Jungle Beat. And also you're fighting other Kongs in the game, which is also the plot of Jungle Beat. So I don't think we'll be able to play on bongos. If we can, I'll definitely be buying it. But yeah,
some of them look like kind of demonic too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, fuck it. I feel like one of the. So they did also show that there's going to be like bonus levels that are basically like remasters of the DKC levels, which is cool. But like I think, the most like, me always caring about world building and lore and shit. But even when it doesn't matter, clearly what has happened is Donkey Kong is on a new island, as he lives in the tropics, and this one is some kind of weird fucking. The children yearns for the mines island, because it's called. You see a big sign saying Ingot Isle and a bunch of monkeys mining and yada yada yada. So
Donkey Kong just crash landed on Florida.
Sweet Christ! God help us all. Donkey Kong eating bath salts. Oh no. But outside of that, like, connective tissue to the original series, it just looks fucking wild, which Donkey Kong has done before. But again, that reminds me more of like Jungle Beat and what have you than DK64. You're not hanging out with Diddy and getting golden bananas. You're doing you're beating the shit out of people and doing weird stuff with weird creatures. So I'm excited to see. I hope Donkey Kong fans like it when they are able to get it, because it does look neat. So, but yeah, I mean, I forget if me and Stealth on stream were talking about playing older Monster Hunters together, but fucking, again, as I like tack on like another 6 months to any release window in order to like wait for it to go on sale a little bit, that's all I can think of is like I have the ability to play older games, and I enjoy a lot of the older games, so I will be doing that as I wait for things to get a little cheaper, as I'm sure they will, if if not enough people buy them, which is going to happen. So that is one reason why I'm just like, hey, yeah, it sucks it's not expensive, but yeah. Yeah,
what if it doesn't impact their bottom line at all?
What's that? Or
what if it doesn't impact their bottom line at all?
I mean, there'd still be, well, I mean, the way I figure it, like, one release maybe, but how many times can Nintendo have lackluster, Lord, that is a tongue twister, lackluster releases before they can't, like, before it affects them? Probably a while. Before they care? Probably not as long. You know, like, they'd probably be like, hey, something's wrong. So I don't know, we'll see. I do think if indie scenes are blowing up and getting big releases and AAA games are not moving like they used to, someone will do something and that will make everyone else do something. So, but that's what go on.
Is that Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness?
Oh yeah, on the GameCube. Yeah. I will say, so I don't have like the extended NSO shit. I mean, maybe if I get Switch 2 and I want to play GameCube games, but like the Pokemon games, which it's wild to say that because we know Pokemon and re-releasing games. Pokemon games and Chibi Robo on that would be like $300 in real life. So. Like, that is no, even as I'm like, play retro games, that's probably the better way to play retro games, so, you know. And it's very exciting.
I can't believe that they pulled our legs, though, by showing fake Silk Song footage.
Fake Silk Song, I know, I'm so happy for Silk Song fans, that's still nothing. Like, I couldn't say it to Zaid, or Pig, or anyone, but, like, we still didn't see anything.
Zaid would die, Pig would just... Wait, Zaid would cry, Pig would just, like, kind of die?
Silently waste away, yeah. Like, you know what would have been hilarious? What if in the, like, direct and everything, while they were doing all those different games and shit, like, it was like Silk Song, and it's just a PNG of Hornet in Photoshop. And it's just like, and everyone's like, yeah, it's real. It's just like, because like, I don't mean
just like,
go on.
In big text at the bottom of the screen, gameplay not final. Yeah, I fucking think so.
I'd hope. But like, yeah, I'm not trying to be mean, because it is, I mean, the exciting thing is that they said it's coming this year, but I mean they've also said it's coming for a while, so but I'm willing to take them with a grain of salt, you know, like, okay, sure, 2025, I will believe that for now, especially because like we got Deltarune and Metroid Prime 4 and a whole bunch of other games that people would say were impossible like last year, so like maybe, but also nothing we've seen so far to my knowledge has been like different from Hollow Knight, you know, like for all intents and purposes, the current Silk Song footage we are working with could just be a mod of Hollow Knight with Hornet switched out for the Knight. So, like, that's...
Occasional. If
yes.
no Hornet, then how Hornet?
No Hornet, then how Hornet? That's a good question, Stealth. I'll get our boys in the lab on that. So, but yeah.
The boys being Pig and Zayd.
Meanwhile, and then they see single PNG of Hornet and they faint. So it's slow going. we're not gonna get answers soon. I'm gonna be real with you. But yeah.
Envisioning Pig in the lab, I just see like Waddles struggling to put on goggles.
With a I mean, probably, but fucking like. We saw a Moo driving with its hooves, so maybe they have more dexterity than we believe. You know, with those things.
I am filling out for Big Momo, so
I am going to be a Cat Quack main day one because I remember loving those guys. I think they're in Mario Kart Wii, Mario Galaxy, and then of course in Sunshine and everything. That's where they came from. But like they again. Not even tertiary Mario characters. For all intents, in terms of your typical narrative, these are background characters you would see filling out like a crowd scene. Like that is who they are filling out the roster of Mario Kart with, and I think they know that, and I think it's great. Give me Penguin. Penguin is a great choice. Just Penguins have a famed history in Mario, if we're being honest. So having one of them drive a car is also hilarious.
Penguins have a famed history in kart racing too.
Do they?
Are you saying they don't?
I just wasn't aware of it.
Yeah. They've been in it since
Yeah.
Mario Kart 64.
Were they? Oh,
Yeah, sure,
like
Brian.
oh, okay. Well, fucking, we could say. Well, then we can say that Moo has a famed history in kart racing. It's
And
like,
I would agree with you.
you would agree as them as spectators counts as their famed history in kart racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not love Blue Meadows?
I do love Moo Meadows. I just don't. But when someone asks me my top 10 favorite racers of all time, I don't say, well, Moo is number one, obviously.
That's
so.
toxic.
Well, fucking, I don't think getting hit by a car makes you a racer, but I could be wrong about that, so. Let me go talk to Dale Earnhardt, only racer I know by name.
You're gonna have a hard time talking to him.
Yeah, is he dead? Yeah, he's definitely dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
uh,
You talk to his son?
Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean,
Smash.
what's that?
I said add them to Smash.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, I imagine you, Stealth, as someone who dabbles in Smash, your response is, I don't care. Especially because there are other games you are definitely interested in. But I wonder how the Smash community at large feels about the fact that they're like, hey, Sakurai is definitely working on something else for the Switch 2 and not Smash at the moment, maybe if ever. So we will see.
Here's the thing. Smash will always have a place in my heart, and Ultimate was really cool. I have not mechanically liked a Smash game since Project
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. I figured,
say.
because you've talked a lot about Melee and like the ROM hacks for it, so that's why I was just like, I'm not. I was waiting for the internet to explode when like the GameCube, which they're not going to do, but like the GameCube NSO, like when it flashes like Melee on the screen, it was like, yeah, just losing their fucking minds. But they might not even be doing that. So
We have fixed the mechanical issues with the game.
No
Players
more-
used to be able to. Yeah, I was about to say no more wave dashing. It's just like, well, what's the point?
Yeah. Like just like when they re-released Mario N64 and they were like, the fucking no more backwards long jumping. It's just like, I like backwards long jumping.
We've always liked it. What the
Like-
fuck? Why'd you take it out?
I need to point out that not only is Dale Earnhardt dead, he specifically died in a car crash. Damn. Rest in peace.
It was tragic.
Man, too soon. Gone too soon. I
I
remember
would
like
not.
a,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say the joke was too soon,
Mm,
but
I would.
it's been a minute.
I'm sorry to his family. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of shit in the world right now. We're all like, I've been thinking about that with Monster Hunter, where it's like I've just been like sick of myself at Monster Hunter, because otherwise I'm just like, what else do I do? It's like sit and have people yell at me that something needs to be done, and I'm just like, what can I do? And they're like, but that's why I'm just enjoying the Nintendo news, because I'm like, oh, no, new games, this is gonna be fun. So, and that is where I'm at, with a kind of, I don't want to say naive optimism, but just taking the good with the bad, as you do. So,
I have killed 71 Chemitrace.
oh, well, sweet, poor chickens. An entire KFC's worth.
I'm trying to find a tiny one. It's not working too well though.
Yeah. For the purposes of the achievement, I feel like I would just go around, like, basically safariing, you know, like with the binoculars, being just like, is that it? No? Okay, moving on. Have a good day, sir. But you're like, they must.
I'm definitely doing that too.
Okay, but you're also being like, they must perish by my hand.
Yes.
Did you post the? Oh, go on.
I'm doing quests, and I'm doing, like, if I see a Chemitrace out in the wild, I'm just like, alright, I need to go look at it.
Completely. Do you have, like, is that like a specific one you're missing? Do you have other gold crowns for everything else, or is it just the one you're on right now?
It's the one I'm on right now.
Gotcha.
Like, at this point in the game, I kind of have to make content.
Well, we got Friday coming, so that's nice. And then we wait for more updates. But it is kind of a shame that you made your way through World before Wilds came out, because like I'm not saying you should get like a bunch of the super older Mon Huns like I did, but World would definitely be just like, I can do another playthrough as I wait for Wilds update, and but you have done that, so now it's just like doubt.
What do you mean?
Like you did like a little playthrough of World before Wilds came out, so like it's not like, I mean,
I have like all the other older Monster Hunters from like
oh, you do?
Night on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then then you are able to. Okay, fair enough.
I just like New World gameplay.
That's fair. Well, that's kind of what I meant, you know, is that like there is one other New World game, and you have in fact recently made your way through it. So now it's just like hang out in Wilds until they
I would
update
definitely
stuff.
consider like Rise exists too. So
That is true.
2 New World games.
I do think I would say that I think Rise, they tried marrying some older things with the with what they had tried out in World and everything, and then they threw in the wire bug there to be like, well, what about this? And everyone's like, yeah, it's pretty neat. And then they moved on. So I'm kind of shocked that the thing that they took away from Rise more than anything else was the not the Sacred. Well, I mean, it is the Sacred, but you know, the Palamute and everything. They're like, wire bugs, fucking dog to ride on? Absolutely. So, and I'm glad.
Well, I mean, the Sacred's basically Wirefall.
Yeah. What's that?
The Sacred's basically Wirefall.
Oh, yeah, with its glide and everything. Yeah. Which is cool.
No, I meant like at Wirefall. Like, you get knocked down, your Sacred can just basically save you.
Oh, God.
Like,
oh, okay, I see what you mean.
It's a get out of jail free card.
I thought you meant with the traversal option, since it can like glide and
Nah.
everything. Yeah. But yeah. So, I mean, listen. Again, I like having a mount in Monster Hunter. It's pretty cool. I do think I forget what the term is. Fucking like mal daydreaming or what have you, but I do think Monster Hunter is becoming a bit of that for me, because I'm just like, I don't fucking, again, it's like I'm not dealing with all this bullshit in the world right now and people yelling at me about it. So time to play I literally just want to sit down and play Monster Hunter for a while. But I don't know, what can you do? Play Monster Hunter. Exactly. you could hunt. You want to go hunt? I think that is why I'm so passionate about making stuff, you know? I think it is a, like, I never want to paint like what like the spaces I create and yada yada as like, no, don't talk about bad stuff. But I also want to be like, let me make some entertainment so that way people can take a breather for a minute. Everyone needs a breather every now and then. So I think entertainment is good for that. It helps with morale. Morale is historically one of the biggest key factors in making sure any movement stays active and afloat. So entertainment is what you need for that 100%. Put on a musical request for the boys overseas. This one goes out to our boys. Select shrink. Oh, Stealth, are you gonna get Final Fantasy VII again?
Nah.
Okay, that's fair. No, it being portable isn't really anything to you.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, because they already have the original on Switch, so it's just like, I mean, if you haven't played Remake, that's a good opportunity too, but it's not, you know. Final 7 was not necessarily missing from Switch. It's just that its latest version wasn't there, so 100% I understand anyone who's like, I like it, but I'm not getting it on Switch. So I know. I mean, listen, Trum, we were talking about racing games. I name dropped the only racer I know the name of, and he is dead. So it's unfortunate. Again, my heart goes out to his family. Do you think we can send them some flowers, Stealth?
I think the timing, they would think the timing is weird.
Lord, that would be very awkward on several layers if you got like flowers and it's like sorry for your loss, and it's just like, my law, what happened? Is everyone okay? And then you ask the person and they're like, oh, your grandma, and you're like, dude, she died 20 years ago. I have
what it's like.
I have stayed not having a grandma.
I was very much still a child when he died.
Like, I miss her 100%, but fucking, I don't, like, it's not, this isn't news. It's not something you have to actively reach out about. Oh, I didn't even talk about it. Because, like, as the day has gone by, I've gotten progressively more excited about new Kirby Air Ride. But, you know, I've been very vocal that I fucking adore Forgotten Land. So I was like, more of that. And there is not a new game, but they are kind of releasing weird DLC. Looks like remixed levels or what have you for Forgotten Land, so I'm deeply into that. I'll get that and replay Forgotten Land. That sounds good by me. So I am excited. There was once I accepted there would be games at this direct. I was like, well, I hope there's some Kirby, and there was in fact some Kirby. So
I feel like
I'm
it was
happy.
mostly games.
It was mostly games.
Nintendo Switch 2 does have them.
Oh my goodness, it really does. Yeah. What was I thinking of? I mean, and also in terms of like, so like, during the last direct, which was like, people have now pointed out, it's like that was definitely for like, you know, things that are coming to both, and them just giving us some titles that we can have in the transition period. But like during that, I was like, it's very funny because like I feel like the idea of a, you know, of a traditional big title game is like your Call of Duties and what have you, large scale realistic graphics, etc. And then they dropped Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life, and everyone lost their shit over that. So I was like, that's funny. But also the Switch 2 Direct kind of had a big traditional AAA title drop when they revealed they are doing a new FromSoft game, which is not Bloodborne coming out. So that is cool, and I will be looking forward to it.
Isn't that?
What's up?
I heard that it was supposed to be something akin to like a PvPvE thing.
They were saying something about it being heavily co-op. We'll see. I mean,
no, I meant like it doesn't play like a Soulsborne kind of situation. It's more of like a.
I wouldn't know about that because I mean like Souls already kind of is PvPvE. You know what I mean? Like that's just a thing that has been in Souls games since the beginning. So wheelchair basketball game is weird and neat. I'm a little afraid for it because, like, you know, I think about ARMS, which I liked ARMS, but fucking not anyone played that. And then this is like similar, where it's like new game for the Switch 2, and it's just like a random kind of sporty game. But also, part of it is the fact that they have made it so that you can use the Joy-Cons like a mouse, which is going to be wild for a lot of reasons. But also, the basketball wheelchair game, they showed that like you can like, you know, make the motions of using a wheelchair to play the game. And I was like, I think that's funny, because I could imagine someone in a wheelchair being like, oh boy, time to get home and play my Switch 2, and then they just have to do the same thing, and they're just like, well, Dad, I am... This is the same amounts of physically exhausting as getting around normally. Yeah. I can't wait for Switch to be the biggest console in the competitive shooter market, because now it has fucking a mouse option built into it. So, I'm sure that'll go well. Mario will star in a new first-person shooter game coming exclusively to Nintendo Switch 2. We hope you look forward to this new adventure with Mario. Oh, speaking of, they are porting Hitman to Switch as well. And as part of it, you can dress up as Luigi in Hitman, and people have already made the jokes about it. So
yeah, no, I was just like they had to know.
They had to.
It's exclusively Luigi. It's not Mario.
No, it is both. But you know.
Oh, okay.
It's
because if it was exclusively Luigi, they have no plausible deniability. That's just it is what it is.
Yes, but no, it is both of them. It's just, you know, Luigi is one of the options. So people already have the jokes ready to go. Fucking, I cannot wait to see, back to Mario Kart news, I cannot wait to see all the fucking stank faces and weird expressions they have to make wildly specific Mario characters do as they drive a go-kart. I'm very excited to see that. What does Cat Quack looks like when he cuts fucking Luigi off at the pass? Please show me, Nintendo. I'm begging you. Cow drinks sour milk, yeah. You thought Luigi had a death stare in Mario Kart. Just wait till you see what Moo Moo looks like when you pass him. Where everyone is the cow. Oh, that's going to happen. You have to know. I saw an edit someone made of like several Moo Moos like flying through the air in one of the screenshots they released. And like
that's ideal.
That's going to happen. Like there are definitely going to be just herds of Moo-Moos stampeding through Mario Kart World, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
as intended.
As intended. Just like Miyamoto intended.
Miyamoto.
Speaking of, I don't know if Stealth cares at all about this. Not in any of the directs recently, but they've been like, Legend of Zelda movie, live action, release date. And listen, I'm expecting the Minecraft movie coming out like this week to be bad, and I'm expecting to be very bad. And if I'm being frank, I'm expecting the Zelda movie to be bad. But we'd be living in a better world if the reality was that they had gone full Lord of the Rings high fantasy for Legend of Zelda, and it was just really good production design, hyper serious, just like not blinking the entire time, 100% just like, you know, a very legitimate high fantasy movie. I'd watch the shit out of that, honestly, but that's probably not what we're getting, so. Especially given like how the Mario movie was and stuff. The Mario movie, the best thing I can say about it was that you should probably watch it on mute, because the animation is good, but writing lesser so. In which a pot breaks over a chicken's head, and the entire theater. The end credits for the Zelda movie is Link slapping a cuckoo once, and then the theater itself burst into flames. They released several rabbit animals into the theater you are sitting in.
And then as you're dying, you just hear, "Excuse me, princess."
Excuse me, princess. Or also, you know, related to all of this, I don't think anyone's talked about the fact that, like, the new Donkey Kong looks like a procedural kind of mining game, like your Astroneers, your Minecrafts, what have you. And I mean, can we get Donkey Kong saying fucking Jack Black's lines from the Minecraft movie? Can he punch through a wall and be like, "Flint and steel"? Because I mean, I'd install it.
I would uninstall
it. I wouldn't have the mod, and I would still uninstall the game for knowing that mod existed.
Yeah, now you're getting it.
Yeah. It was excellent in the Mario movie. Yeah, but Luigi was not in the Mario movie a lot. He was very much like he had some great moments and was cool in the end fight, but he was not as prominent as the Christopher Rat or you know, other or Seth Rogen. Weirdly, I kind of liked what they did with Donkey Kong in the Mario movie, because they're like, I have father issues, and that's wild, but you know what? I'll bite. Why not? What else is thinking of? Also, yeah, DK's new design. Oh, so much better. I've had several people agree with me. DK for not to knock the Rare design for several reasons, but for the longest time since the Country games, Donkey Kong's face has been an expressionless void. He's had a 1,000-yard stare that he never seems to get rid of, and they have changed his design so that
I said, yeah, and his teeth sometimes just disappear.
Exactly, and to have him do different expressions, sometimes his teeth disappear. And they have redesigned him so that he can make expressions again. So, that's very exciting. I love the visuals of Mario Wonder and the new DK game. I love what Nintendo's doing with that. That's the kind of stuff I mean when I'm just like, I'm not letting like related news get me down too much. I accept it. I think we need to do stuff about it, yada yada yada. But also, DK looks goofy and cartoonish, and that just brings joy to me, regardless of what else is happening. So, I'm, you know, moving on. Like, yeah. Moo DK Fishbone Dolphin. Just a dolphin. Wasn't Dolphin was the code name for the Wii, right? I'm not making that.
Yeah.
Was it the Wii or the It was the Wii. Could you imagine if one of the tricks the Dolphin does when it like does like a flip or something in Mario Kart is it brings out a Wii from nowhere and puts it away as it lands? I'd be very happy about that. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what, because again, I always want to stress, you know, Like, I don't think we should ignore stuff that's happening, but people saying, like, things are expensive, the economy's bad. It's just like, well, fucking, I know. Like, yes, correct. I'm just excited about the new Donkey Kong game right now, so. Reuse the parental control video from 8 years ago. Was that the same video? I thought Junior giving Bowser a hug and stuff was a new animation for their new "Don't Let Your Kids Talk to Pedophiles" video that they've released. Stealth, will you be using the Switch 2's built-in video call feature?
Holy fuck no.
No.
Did you see? It was going to like 10 frames per second whenever you're streaming stuff.
And I mean, if we're
like they're trying shit, as Nintendo often does.
But I mean, like, you know, historically, their hit rate in trying gimmicks not the best. Looking at the Virtual Boy, so the only real big failure Nintendo has had in the grand scheme of things was the Wii U, and I am nervous for the Switch 2 because it's called the Switch 2, and whether or not that means a lot of people get it, who knows. But we also just talked about shit being too expensive, so you know, like, pick your battles. But anyway, I was just thinking of. But, like, fucking Nintendo tries out shit all the time, and it doesn't work all the time, so fucking... Shouldn't be too surprised at that video call feature. Lord, I should do a stream where I use the video call thing as, like, a webcam, and it's moving at, like, 3 frames per second. I'm just like,
God, you're streaming it too. Oh man, you're lucky if you get to single digits.
It's actually named like a which is completely fair. And again, I think in terms of like a gamer's perspective, like, I think people should be happy that they're like, hey, this we've created a monster. The Nintendo Switch 2 makes your gaming PC look like a chump. Now come play our games. Do it. You won't, cowards. Because again, like I said, from 30 to 120 is a truly insane upgrade. So I hope while you know, like, kids and their families, they probably won't care and keep playing their Switches for the long haul. I'm sure people who moreover play games as like a hobby they actively take part in, they will be happy about that, especially if they care about specs more. So I'm excited. I do wonder. I've never checked in on how, like, the Switch OLED did, because I imagine at the low end, that's what we'd probably be looking at for how the Switch 2 does. Just if people literally just see it as a new model of the Switch. So, but I really, that's what I'm talking about with, like, money stuff, where it's like, it's not, if they price people out of buying their shit, it's not on me if it does bad. Like, I will be excited about the news, and I will not be burdened if it goes sour. If they're just like, why aren't people buying it? I don't know. It's $500 and with $80 games. That is exact. I was thinking about this during this today, because I think I've mentioned I believe I need a new computer. I don't think I'm getting a PC, and, like, I could use a PC, but that's definitely why, because I mean, fucking, I know people. I don't know about you, Stealth. I don't know. You have a PC, right? Like a PC?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yes. But, like, even people like Pig has actively talked about it, and Barry. Like, they're just like, man, computer parts are expensive. Good computer parts are expensive. So, like, I might be able to build a PC on a budget. It won't be more powerful than any console I own, but it'll be a PC I own, so. I would like to see if, because like I've had gaming laptops before, and they break quickly. But I want like my MacBook has lasted me a good long while, and now only now am I really starting to notice issues with it. I would just like something I can do art and streaming on, like my MacBook, but preferably not running Mac OS, so that way I can play like Repo on it. I don't need it to play Elden Ring. Let me play goofy multiplayer games with my friends that require minimum specs. That'd be nice. I don't know how I go about looking for that, but I'll do my research before I buy anything. I have no intent on wasting a bunch of money, especially if I do want a Switch 2 at some point before 2026 or during 2026. Stealth, let me ask you, how was your day today?
It was okay.
It was okay. I'm glad. They let me go home early from work today, which I was happy about. It does make me kind of nervous, because, I mean, that means I won't be able to do that tomorrow or on Friday. But, you know, we're getting through we take what we can, and we're getting through the weeks, before my computer went. Yeah. That has always... I don't know how much I've talked about it on stream, but on top of price point, like... I am wildly hesitant to ever try getting a PC that I help make the specifications for. I'll fuck that up so bad. That's the thing. I mean, go watch Super iPatrol's video on him getting a Dell computer, and what was I thinking of? One of the things that went wrong was that the computer came. He used a website to build it, and the computer came with mechanical hard drives because he didn't know you had to opt into solid state hard drives. So the thing didn't work at all, and he had spent a good amount of money on it. So I would not be surprised if I tried making a computer and something like that happens, and I'd be very upset very quickly. I think before I get myself a computer, we must rid ourselves of the evil that is cryptocurrency. Rise up, gamers! Destroy the Bitcoin market! I used to watch videos on that, but I feel like one reason I stopped is just like people are just committing crimes over like nothing. That's why there's so much happening. Why are you doing this? Why must you make a new meme coin? Who's buying it? Truly, who is?
If no great meme coin, then how exploit idiots?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm already taking a hard look at how things work in the world today because of shit, and fucking the crypto does not work. It is unless nothing.
You're talking about dog.
What's that?
I said, unless you're talking about the super dog.
That's not, false. Crypto is best boy. He's going to be in the new movie, so that's different. Yeah. He can say, but that's with a K and not a C. So again, he's completely.
I think I know how to spell.
No, I don't know how to read. One Bitcoin. Yeah, that is the only thing cryptocurrency is good for. Time travel. If you are someone who's like, I need money, the only solution is for me to travel back in time and invest in a cryptocurrency before it goes like bankrupt. You know, that like that is the only value I see it holding. We've made computers do math, and that means it has money. Does it? It does? Lord, fucking... My brother and me did this bit, like, years ago. where like I think one of the questions was about like Bitcoin and shit, and they were just like, we don't know what it is. No one knows what it is.
Yeah,
It's really best if you stay away from it, probably. So that doesn't make me money, nah. Me and Stealth can't do math, but that doesn't mean we think computers should make money for doing it, so. Math sucks. Luckily in Monster Hunter and the like, when number go up, they make it green. So, you know, that's a nice, helps us figure things out. Yeah. Honestly, I had said before, speaking of like, you know, things being expensive, blah, blah, blah. I, like, the Switch came out and it had Breath of the Wild on it, and I didn't even know Wii U. So, like, I couldn't play Breath of the Wild, and I didn't want any spoilers for that game. So, obviously, for like a year and a half, basically, I was just always on my toes about Breath of the Wild. They have not announced any games I would be, like, wildly hesitant about spoilers for on the Switch 2. The only direct sequel I am definitely getting and would be worried about spoilers for is Metroid Prime 4, and that's coming out on the Switch 1, so it's no sweat. Still, do you like Seamus Aran, famous Scottish bounty hunter?
Eh.
Never really been into those games?
Not especially.
Do you like Metroidvanias in general or not?
Ones with fun movement.
That's fair. So Hollow Knight. Would you say?
I mean, yeah, but there are other examples.
What is your favorite Metroidvania that you can think of in a timely fashion?
Well, now that you put me on the spot, I literally cannot think of one.
Even what? That's fair. I have a weird relationship. I like Metroid, but like for example, people complain about Dread because like it's linear, and I'm just like I don't like getting lost for an hour in the game, and having to Google like where go after. Like I like a little direction, please. Like I like the games where you can explore and backtrack after you get a new item. It's real cool, and I have fun times playing them. But also, if I have to get lost for like 3 hours in this game, I'm going to be upset about it. So don't do me like that, Nintendo. I'm begging you.
I will never find this tiny chicken.
He doesn't exist. He must be hiding somewhere. No. That's kind of a simple drawing, but I think that's about as good as we should get. So I'm not gonna mind it too much. But also, let me take a drink of water. I'm glad it's Wednesday. I have, you know, get through tomorrow and Friday weekend. I do have plans with my family on Saturday, but we're probably gonna have fun with that. So I'm not gonna mind it too much. And then Sunday I can lock myself in my room and sleep. So. I need to apply to jobs and probably email my senators and stuff. Hey, again, not to talk about too much real shit. Shout out Cory Booker. That shit, that was wild. That was great. You did a good job.
Did he actually do something worth talking about in Ever?
What, Cory Booker?
Yeah, he's kind of mid most of the time.
I mean, have you not heard about him doing the longest speech in American history and holding up the Senate floor in protest of, just everything happening right now, during which he talked about everything happening right now.
Nope, I'll have to check it out.
Yep. So Stealth, this is why I actually I'm actually surprised you hadn't heard about this.
Oh, well, did it happen today?
It happened yesterday. Well, technically it started 2 days ago, and then it happened yesterday because he spoke for 25 hours straight. And again, not to get into things, but I think someone being able to speak on the issues candidly, which he did, he did not hold back. He spoke very openly and frankly about what's going on, and did a good job being like, hey, this is wild. We need to stop this happening. And what was I thinking of? But I mean, more so than that, I think one, holding up the floor in protest of it is cool, even if we would all like everyone to be doing a bit more. And then two, apparently he had not eaten for 4 days and had not had anything to drink in 1 day, because he knew he had to not leave to use the bathroom, so he literally fasted beforehand. So if anything,
my tiny chicken.
You found it?
Yeah.
Yo. This is even more. This is more momentous than the speech.
Please
continue. No, you're good. No, it's fun. It's hilarious. I love that you found your tiny chicken. Please, I insist you take a screenshot. I want to see the tiny chicken. Capture him, and keep him in a zoo. Now, wasn't that a thing in World, where you'd capture a monster and it would show up in camp?
Yeah.
They should bring that back. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, again, there a lot of people will bring up the fact that, performative shit and doing nothing of substance, but I would say, again, that was just an amazing fucking physical thing he did, period. And then holding up the floor in protest is wildly impressive, and he broke a record that was held by a racist for a long time, so
That would be my follow-up question. Was he holding up an important vote or something, or was it just
No, but because apparently that's a detail. They're we don't like filibuster, but he wasn't stopping a bill. He was just stopping proceedings, period. And then before that, the record was held by a guy who was a shithead and was holding up the Civil Rights Act, which is shitty. So the fact that record was broken by someone protesting what's happening right now is cool. It is considerably better news. And then also, Wisconsin Supreme Court election went well.
Yeah, so, I did see that.
Yes,
I did see that.
So I took a nap after work, and I woke up to some people upset about some current news, and I get it, but I don't want to take away that there's some neat news happening right now, and as much as we should truck forward, should appreciate that. Appreciate some cool things happening. So
the fact that you tried to buy that election so fucking hard,
I know, makes it funnier.
Yeah.
So I will say, drawing a line. We will not go past this. We will not necessarily drag stream down with more shit. But yeah, like I said, a lot of the stuff has been cool, and the fact it usually comes that it has come at the expense of bad people is even better. So little victories. We could use a big one, but let's celebrate just a little bit for some recent things. Like new Kirby Air Ride.
Hell yeah. City Trial. It better be in there.
So you played the original Air Ride stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
I still have my copy on GameCube.
Oh, fuck yeah. Have you ever played it? Because I mean, I don't know if I'll try and track down a GameCube copy for myself, but have you ever played it single player or anything? Or have you mostly played it with friends and shit?
The only time I really played it multiplayer is with my cousins.
Oh, okay. But you're still I love this game.
Yeah, you might not get that much playtime out of it because I was a dumb kid with not many games. And I liked Kirby.
I feel like the only unfortunate thing about that is like 2 days ago I should have gotten it, try it out, because now it'll be more expensive. And if I don't get a lot of playtime out of it, that's not great. But I mean, I was looking up gameplay of the original. And I mean, it looks cool. So it's again exciting. There's a new one on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Tiny chicken % achieved.
How many monsters do you have like both gold crowns for?
Oh, like 5.
Is chicken one of them now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Arkveld's one too. So.
Fucking.
I mean, but of course that makes sense
You-
because it's like Arkveld Simulator.
You love hunting yourself some Arkvelds. I honestly haven't hunted that many, just because, as I you know,
It's the best in-game grind.
I believe you, but also I'm more than happy fighting Chicken and Frog, so and
Yeah, I
Rheophilos.
was saying that I was just saying that that's why I fought so
Yeah.
many of them, and like the amount that I fought of Arkveld is like, it compares nothing to the amount of chickens I fought looking for that tiny crown. In total, 77.
Well, I thought you had posted it. It was on TikTok, and I've lost it. But I saw a TikTok of Monster Hunter Wilds of someone screenshotting someone they played with, and the player name was like "fuck Gormagala" or something like that. And in their header, they had a gold crown Gormagala, and they had killed 250 of them. And their tagline was, "I will hunt Gormagala 1,000 times before master rank." So it was.
Hell yeah, dude.
I was like, damn, that person is on a mission.
They caught a really bad case of the frenzy virus once and just never forgave Gore.
Listen, it is understandable. I don't know, is there... I'm trying to think if there's a particular monster where I am angry at it to the point of just like, fuck this thing, I'm hunting it till it's gone. Because the only thing that comes to mind for me is Rajang, but honestly, I just would rather not fight Rajang that much, so...
I wouldn't say it's limited to species, but I don't know if you were in Call, or it might have been Vegeta.
Yeah,
But
what's up?
they, like, whenever I'm streaming Monster Hunter and like a certain monster annoys me in a quest, even if it's
Yeah.
not the target, I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
no, fucking, you have to die.
Yeah, no, for me, it's definitely more specific monsters and not like the species and everything. So that's what I was thinking about it. Because I mean,
I could have just walked away.
Yeah, I watched videos about it, and I have noticed it in games, and I think it's cool. But like, both in stories and I think in the Ludo narrative of Monster Hunter, you get rivals, you get monsters that like are as much fighting you as you are fighting them. And I mean that's what. No, yeah. You fucking Tigrex kicks your ass a couple times, and then you're like, fucking hop on Rivals of Aether right now. Do it, you won't.
1v1B.
Yeah.
Look,
Fucking loser.
fucking, Hodojo, 3 stocks.
Loser gets turned into pants. Come on, bring it.
Hold on, I don't like this. No, we're playing it.
I will say, I do think I treat Tigrex like a rival. Because, like, I'm not even like, his fight is fun. No, it's like, he's a strong ass monster. He gives me good equipment. So, like, I find a Tigrex, I fight it. And I have a respect for him for that.
You had said his fight was fun. I would have so many confused words.
I like being I wouldn't say I like getting my ass kicked by Tigrex. I would say I like being able to beat Tigrex though, so.
Spin, spin,
Spin.
spin, 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 dash, 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 spin.
Listen. And yeah, I managed to fight my way through it anyway, so like I said.
Yeah.
We be out here. We be doing the dang thing. I like taming the
Do the dang
Tigrex.
thing and suddenly spin.
Spin. I will say, I just don't like I've seen people be annoyed with Tigrex before. I haven't been that is the thing, which is, and again, like I said, I like his design. I like the equipment he gives me. So at that point, I'm just like I'm with Tigrex. Bring Tigrex to Wilds. I'll kick his ass. So he'd be a good. You were doing Stealth. We were hanging in call one night and Stealth did a tier list of like different monsters that would fit in different biomes. Did you put Tigrex in the plains? Where'd you put him?
Yeah, I think I'm fairly certain I put it on the plains.
I definitely, because I mean,
like out of the existing biomes.
Yeah.
Other than Wyveria.
The fucking the thing that started that, and the consensus honestly was that a lot of monsters, maybe too many, would fit in the Scarlet Forest. So then it's like, okay, well, how many monsters can we put in other areas to make sure that so the Scarlet Forest doesn't become the only place to find monsters? And honestly, for many reasons, I think Tigrex would be better for the wide open Windward Plains. He'd be better off there than the forest. So he also is typically found in very desert regions, and I say that when in like the literal desert sense, so the tundra and the desert. They need a better word for that. Fucking, for anyone who doesn't know, like the Arctic, that's a desert. It's cold, but it's a desert because desert is like lack of water, and
the desert's cold at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, what you would think of the desert is cold.
But what I need is a better word for, because when I say Antarctica, the desert, people are just like even if you know that fun fact, you're like, well, that's not right. There needs to be a better word for like remote regions without a lot of vegetation and land. Yeah, exactly. like very, very, I guess you could say barren, but like that's an adjective. It doesn't necessarily describe it, like the biome. So fucking get on it. Get on it, scientists and dictionaries, please.
Unwetlands.
Yeah. The unmoistened ones. That's what we call them. And everyone's like, I don't think so, actually. Also, weirdly related, let me just shout this out. I did this last time when they were asking for it, but it has become apparent with all the stuff we talked about this stream. Let me just say, consider donating to Wikipedia. They could use it, and good source of free information. So I know that's one of the things we're just used to not doing, because stuff. But might be a good idea these days. So if you have stuff to stare.
That one dude who was slowly making the state of Minnesota bigger, and that was
in Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That's the thing he was doing.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, who's it harming, really? Who's it harming if that you look at the map of Minnesota, and it's just you can't even tell the rest of the U.S. is behind it. That's funny. But yeah, games are fun, and stuff is happening in the world. Big shocker. Man, could you imagine? So like, I think a lot of people have either realized or, maybe not, but like, bad stuff is happening in the world for sure. But we also live at a time where you can learn about more bad stuff than ever. Like we live at a time. Beans. I fucked it. I fucked it so bad. Okay.
That does describe the times.
Yeah, that's true. But we live at a time where you can learn about more bad stuff than ever, right? Like, if you lived in 500, like, AD or whatever, like, lots of bad stuff is probably happening, but you don't know because fucking no one comes to your village from outside the outside world, and you don't have the internet or carrier pigeons. But could you imagine being in like 1000 AD and it's just like, yeah, the Mongols are invading, so that kind of sucks, but a new chessboard just dropped, so I'm kind of into that right now. So I take a life as it goes. it's the year 1800s, and I'm kind of upset about the Civil War, but Nintendo just dropped some new cards, so canonical real history fact. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I just wanted to sketch out their hats more. I love how, like, I don't know how I end up doing comics so fast when it's like the day before, because otherwise I can be real slow at doing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a thing that people just work better under pressure generally.
That's true. I do think that is a benefit of me doing these. Again, these are things I like doing, even if I don't got a lot of people reading them. But like being able to put this comic out regularly, and then also like the cartoony art style I've chosen for it, I think that helps me be like, okay, get it done now. When as opposed to try and do like a big project and being just like, I want the art to be better. Was the thing, you know, guys, yesterday, I forgot Zaid was on my stream yesterday, but yeah, yesterday Zaid was talking about a lot of new, what's it called? A lot of new stuff for his streams, and one of them included him being like, I'm making a mascot. I hope he comes out with that soon. I'll do art of my friend's mascot. I've done art with Pig plenty of times for emotes and different stream elements he's used, so do it, Zaid. Zaid, quickly, let me make NSFW art of your mascot. Please, I'm begging you.
That would be like one of the least things you want.
That would be the last thing Zaid would want. Or, Stealth, you saw her, right? In the Nintendo Direct during the Donkey Kong trail. You saw her? Yes, you did.
Oh, are they making art of her?
I don't know if they are, but fucking, it's going to happen. If it's not happened, it's in the process of happening. For anyone who doesn't know, they basically have made a new Candy Kong, but a villain. So, that I'm sure that'll go about as well as we expect. Fucking, I love how they announced a bunch of wacky racers for Mario Kart, and I was like, I feel like Nintendo's...
I love wacky races.
Yeah. I don't know that much about that. That's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right?
Yeah.
But
several
like,
even.
several episodes. But isn't Dick Dastardly one of the characters? Dick?
Yeah, he's new with Muttley, right?
I believe, yes, because he was in the bad Scooby-Doo movie. Oh, wait, there's only so many bad Scooby-Doo movies, but everyone knows what I mean when I say the bad Scooby-Doo movie. But anyway, but yeah, they announced all like the fucking crazy and dumb choices for new racers in Mario Kart, and I think Nintendo is like semi-aware of how ridiculous those choices are and is leading into it, which is great. But then also they announced a new sexy gorilla with Donkey Kong, and I don't know if they're aware of that. They might be aware of that, but even if they are, then they shouldn't be doing it. So Nintendo, I beg of you, stop. We do not need more sexy gorillas in your categories, in your libraries. This will end poorly. I saw someone in Barry's Discord be like, Nintendo not add sexy furry to a children's game, Challenge Impossible, and I was like, does Bowser count as one of the? Does Bowser count as their first sexy furry? Okay, but still, let me ask you something. If we're thinking like that, like, is that retroactively applied? Does Bowser in Mario 1 count as their first sexy furry, or no?
Let me look at Mario 1.
I mean, like, let's be generous.
Sex about them.
they could have added a bit of sex to Bowser's design. I've heard that it sells, you know? I would say the latest Bowser becomes a sexy furry is Mario Sunshine, where he's a DILF, where they've turned him into a DILF. So
that might have been the turnaround.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But then at what point was that? Was the GameCube when they started making sex? That was when Animal Crossing came out. Isabelle wasn't in it yet, but I'm sure some freak likes an old Animal Crossing character. So this isn't necessarily their oldest tradition, but at least since GameCube, sexy furries have been a Nintendo staple. Cause yeah, I mean, fucking, you know, GameCube era would be around when fucking Ruby and Sapphire come out, and we all know how Gardevoir has aged. So
yeah, the fucking life-size Gardevoir doll.
Oh lord!
People are purchasing with only pure intent in heart.
You know what? I will stand by this, and not the Gardevoir thing, Lord, not that. But I will stand by a Nintendo decision and be like, I see what they're doing there. I don't know how it will work out, but I can kind of support it, which is to say that have you seen like the kind of anti-scalping measures they've put into pre-ordering the Switch 2 or no?
No, I don't. I haven't. They need to do that for Pokemon cards, whatever they're doing.
But so you have to have an amount of playtime on your original Nintendo Switch. You have to have a Nintendo account. There's like a couple things. Basically, you have to have been actively playing your Switch a good amount before you can pre-order a Nintendo Switch 2. And at one hand, I'm just like, I just let people buy the Switch 2. I'm also just like, PS5. How the PS5
does it have to be current hours? Because I have not touched my Switch in a long time.
I think it's just on your account. Like, you have to have these kinds of numbers on your account, and then you can pre-order the Switch 2.
Well, I have thousands of hours then.
Yeah, so like again, I don't know the details of it, but I can see what they're doing there, and I'm like, that is understandable and maybe even a good idea. But like, fucking, they need to do something like that for the Gardevoir, but even more security measures for the Gardevoir plush. I'm begging you. It's you know.
We have made it everything proof cloth.
Yeah. In order to order the Gardevoir plush from Game Freak, you must be actively wearing a chastity belt. If at any point you take off the chastity belt, the Gardevoir plush will catch fire. So, made of a quick burning material.
You must submit your internet search history.
Unedited. We'll know if you're lying. But yeah, obviously, I don't want to fully be like, yes, Nintendo's anti-scalping measures for the Switch 2 is a fully good idea, because I don't know the full details, but it is understandable at the very least. If anyone looked at the launch of PS5 and doesn't understand why Nintendo is doing that, then you've learned nothing. We were just talking about fucking Bitcoin people making it impossible to get computer parts, so them being just like, fucking only the most dedicated Switch players may pre-order this console. Anyone else, get out of here. So, I don't know how many.
Chicken Blade.
Chicken Blade? Oh, Chicken Blade. Chicken Jockey. I am Steve. Flint and Steve. Just. How long do you think it will take? I mean, there's probably already a supercut of that shit online now, but like a complete supercut of Jack Black saying dumb stuff in the Minecraft movie online after the movie comes out. Every time Jack Black just says a thing in the Minecraft movie. Whenever.
1,000 crit to the face.
Damn. Because you're using chicken greatsword, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was playing Pizza Cutter earlier because I relearned it and it's fun.
Oh, Charge Blade?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I needed to get my brain right with it because I was still super amped elemental discharge build, and I needed to get Savage Axe build.
Gotcha. I don't understand these words. Is Charge Blade easier than people make it out to be stealth?
It was easier than I made it out to be, but
Gotcha.
also it's easily the most complex weapon in the game.
So, okay.
Oh.
So, in order to, because I was seeing videos of it, which is making me ask this, like, is it just you attack, it fills up the files you have, and then you're able to do the Pizza Cutter move?
There's more to it than that. Like, there's a sequence of events.
Like, so is it
also
more...
certain attacks charge up faster.
So, well, so I guess that's kind of what I'm asking. Is the reason people say Charge Blade is so complex is not because using the weapon is actively, like, hard, like switching modes and shit is hard, but rather because, like, to actually get good damage, you have to fucking be doing a wildly specific, like, order of events in order to get a good outcome.
You have to do wildly specific things, and you have to get your hands used to them, like the muscle memory of like the switching attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I guess what my question is, if
crazy.
If I booted,
you could do it.
Well, yeah. So what I wanted to ask is, like, if I booted up Monster Hunter right now on stream and, like, was like, okay, Gemma, give me a fucking Charge Blade, would I be able to go out, fight a monster, and do, like, the switch, like, the combo move and the switching modes and everything, like, without too much trouble? Or is that specifically, like, those bigger...
I don't think you'd be able to pick it up... Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to pick it up instinctually, if that's what you're asking.
Gotcha.
I think you'd have to, like, make a bit of an effort to realize, all right, this is what I'm doing to charge my files. This is my B&B combo. This is when I switch. This is when I Savage Axe.
So like, I wouldn't be able to just pick it up, swing away, and be able to switch through the modes that kind of make it up its bread and butter without really, like, practicing and learning it, is what you're saying.
I went into the training room for like 10-15 minutes and figured it out.
That is more time than I'm willing to spend. So, and I mean, you already said you played it before, so
yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with Switch Axe. Switch Axe, I feel like I saw someone saying, like, Switch Axe mains need to admit they don't have the most complex weapon, or, like, they have, like, the easiest weapon. I don't know about, like, Switch Axe being like, this weapon takes no skill at all, but it's not wildly complicated. It's just, it has more layers than just swing, and fucking that is what I want. I want in between of hit the monster and do specific sequence of events. I don't need to be learning fucking fighting game combos, but I'd like to have a bit of complexity in my weapon. Do a little something. Whoop.
I don't think Swax is the easiest weapon.
No. Honestly,
because you have like the fewest defensive options.
I would say, honestly, I don't know if easiest, but I think it's I started with this, and you play it a lot, and I'm not trying to insult it, but I think, like, if I was like easiest weapon in Monster Hunter, I would just say the longsword, just because, like, you have your spirit gauge and stuff.
I would disagree.
You disagree? Why would you say that?
Because unlike what I consider to be the stronger weapons in the game that have, like, just full blocks at this point, you're basically requiring counters.
Gotcha.
And at this point it might be evening out, but just, like, whenever you're relying on counters, like, the Switch Axe relies on counters as, like, its sole defensive option as well.
Yeah. Well, now it does. I don't know if they had counters before, but
it did not.
Yeah, now
before it was just kind of dodge and hope.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with, because, you know, play Bloodborne, but... One,
in the early stages of the game, and two, at the higher level, like, 5-star tempered Gormagalas and Arcvelds, which is kind of like what the end game is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just try and counter those chain blades. Just try it. Those are some weird hitboxes.
Yeah. Fucking, I will. Pig posted a thing about like, and like you were with it, of just like you hunt Arcveld for the parts, I hunt it to make Dada cry, yada yada. I hunt it because it hits me with that fucking tail attack. That doesn't make any sense, and I will kill it every time it does that. So. I will not stop.
Yeah. The tail that's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Bam. You were in the neck zone.
It is insane. It is insane that thing can fly to begin with. I take umbrage with in a game series that already has questionable biology. I take umbrage with Arcveld flying at all. Even more than like Gravios. Fucking the tail adds to that and makes me angry that thing exists at all. So. What was I just thinking of? So, Stealth, what would you say, in your opinion, for someone who just wants to pick up Monster Hunter and swing away? What is... Well, not... Okay, just pick up Monster Hunter. What's the easiest weapon?
Oh, the easiest weapon overall has to be Sword and Shield.
You think
like,
so?
100%.
Even in the modern day? Gotcha. I saw everyone's favorite lad, Joe Cat, when Wilds came out, actually, saying that he doesn't think... You know, Sword and Shield is like the easiest thing anymore. That they've added enough to it that it's just like, you know, you might be better off trying something else.
You find you have a very strong very strong defensive options. You still have very easy bread and butter combos. What they basically added was like the stabbing knife. It's fine. You'll be fine.
You'll figure it out. Just fucking. Listen, if you can't figure this out, I don't know what other weapon to give you, so fucking...
It's literally easier and gives you more value a lot of the times than Perfect Rush combo. So, you'll be fine.
You'll be okay. You'll live. Fucking...
Yeah. Just pick up a status Sword and Shield and go wild. Like, element works too, but if you're just literally just trying to make it easier on yourself, like, grab something poison... or para to give yourself some more time. You'll be good.
I will say, I do think, to your point, I do think one of the reasons I didn't click with Sword and Shield is because it felt like I was never really doing enough. It's not like I wouldn't win hunts and everything, but I'd be like, can I do more with this, or is this, is this where it is? And obviously, like,
Pig definitely can.
Pig main Sword and Shield, but he has like a very, like he said himself, he has like a specific co-op build he goes for that takes advantage of the fact that, Sword and Shield can come out very quickly and yada yada yada, so like... Well,
you can literally use items with your weapon out, so...
Yeah. So, like, he's taking advantage of that most of the time, whereas, like, I'm just like, I want weapon to hit thing with, which is not necessarily Sword and Shield's strong suit.
Yeah, I've built DPS on Sword and Shield since World, and it's never been not crazy.
It's a good time. What was I thinking of? I don't know if Hammer would be in contender for easiest weapon, but I will say I like its simplicity.
Hammer is kind of weak. I will say it. Hammer's kind of weak.
Just overall as a weapon choice.
Yeah. Like looking at the rest of the cast.
Listen.
I think it needs to be tuned up a bit, and they are actually doing that.
I can appreciate that there are more complex weapons you can min-max and stuff, but I appreciate its simplicity. And the fact that, like, sometimes all you want to do is punch the monster in the face until it gets knocked down. So
I think we're talking about two different things.
Why is that?
Well, I've realized as this conversation's gone on.
What do you mean when you say Hammer is weak in general?
Like DPS, just like. But
yeah.
Whenever we were talking about earlier, easiest weapon.
Yeah.
I thought that you meant like the easiest at clearing hunts with, just like
I did mean that.
Huh?
I did mean that because I think to people who are just casually playing Monster Hunter, like they want something they can easily just grab and beat boss fights with, then that would be it. So.
I definitely still think that Sword and Shield is the answer to that question because like good defensive option, very good at applying statuses.
Yeah.
good for elemental builds too, just because of, like how fast his attacks come out,
Yeah.
and ease of using items because you can use it with the weapon out.
Yeah, when I was talking about hammer, I just mean like, you know, like we were saying, you need to know like specific combos for charge blade, and obviously a lot of the other weapons have like a layer of like you have to consider this as you're fighting the monster, etc., etc., etc. Hammer is you pull it out and you start hitting the monster, so it's like you know, you are very single track minded, and I'm okay with that for Hammer specifically. So,
and I just think it needs its numbers need to be tuned up just a bit to compete.
yeah. Because I mean, if it's going to be simple, it should still hit hard. Because you know, then if not, what else does it have to offer? If you can't do a big combo with it, then fucking it needs to be just having big numbers. Period. So I didn't really pay attention to that in Wilds, but I mean, people have already been like, "Wilds is easy, yada yada yada." So you know, just use what weapon you want. You don't need
you can
to be...
definitely get out of anything.
Yeah. You don't need to be min-maxing at the moment. Fucking when they finally add Fatalis and Elatria, I unironically think that is coming. I think this is the second game with both those dudes in it at some point, whether it's in their version of Iceborne or in at the end of the base game's update cycle. So we will see.
At the end of the base, like they would go. Like, if it's at the end of the game's base game's cycle, then how would they even go above that?
That is true, and also, as I said that, I did realize end of base game updates is probably going to be Shigura Magala, so that is probably the Elder Dragon waiting for us at the moment. And if not, I'm going to question what Capcom is doing. So we here at Capcom have decided we're not adding Shigura Magala to the game. What, excuse me?
We thought it would be funny.
We thought it'd be funny. We thought it'd be funny if you just killed so many babies that the mom never showed up.
We will instead be adding Maguru Shigala.
Hello. Yeah? Fucking... It's just
What is that? We don't know either.
It's a Chematrice with a hat on. Cosplaying as Shigura Magala. We don't know what he's doing here either.
No. It's a Kurapeko wearing Shigura Magala skin that calls Gores.
Oh lord, that would be terrifying. Unironically terrifying. The way it calls them is by playing fucking fucking Megalovania.
Yeah.
Very excited for new Deltarune. I need to make my way through the Prime games because like I typically limit myself to playing 2 games at a time. So I gotta make my way through the Prime games because other than that I'm playing Monster Hunter, and then after that I'll boot up my Switch and play through Deltarune chapters 1 and 2 again in preparation for the newest chapters. I cannot wait. I hope they have more fun extra bosses that has like I don't think the only reason to play Undertale is like Sans or whatever, but
I never did the Genocide run.
Yeah, but I will say I think Deltarune specializes in their extra bosses. Like Jevil and Spamton are great characters and cool fights, especially with like Jevil in chapter 1. Like he's easily the deepest that game gets. So, but that game was kind of released as a tech demo, so you know, can't really blame it for that. It's literally chapter 1. It only goes up from there. Yeah, I still don't necessarily believe Toby when he's like, it's not tying into Undertale. I don't necessarily expect like a big thing being just like, you know, and this is how it connects to Undertale or whatever, but I'm expecting something before Deltarune is done to be like, and this is what's happening, and Undertale is here.
Or so far.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, fucking, there's like weird little details in Undertale that hint at different things, and what it's hinting at, people still don't know. But what? And this isn't me saying I think it hints to Deltarune. I'm just saying that I think something like that will pop up in Deltarune, and then you're able to connect the dots of being just like, oh, and that's how it's connected to Undertale. Yada yada yada. So.
Oh hi, Ju. What the? What are you doing here?
No, being a dickhead. You know me. I love murder.
Yeah, we know, girl. Go home.
Okay. Lord, I feel like that's one reason I haven't been super hard on the amount of content in, like I've talked about the monsters they should add, yada yada yada, but I'm not like, I am upset with how Wilds has come out so far, even though, you know, performance on PC is shit, but I just love so much of the new monsters they have added. Zhu might be my favorite, but it's a close race, so I would not be able to tell you. Jindahad rules. I fucking love Jindahad. So
Jindahad's probably my new favorite fight.
yeah. I hope he
Like from Wilds.
I hope like other arena fights he does not get stuck in singular game, because I would love if they are able to bring him in new stuff going forward. He rules.
We have retroactively added Jindahad to Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Please enjoy.
I will. That's amazing news. You guys can do that?
No, but we have anyway.
Okay. I've seen a lot of people coming out and being like, Generations Ultimate, goated ass game, like online recently. I agree. And I mean, I remember watching Scott Falco's video on Monster Hunter World and Generations Ultimate, and I definitely appreciate it stylistically, at least. Like, don't get me wrong, love high def Monster Hunter, but going back to chunky Monster Hunter where everything's super colorful, yada yada yada, that's great. Love that. Love going to the Jurassic frontier and what have you. So I'll be playing it again, I'm sure. That how long it takes, we'll see. So that's not even into stealth. That's not even me being just like, stealth, we have to do it now. No, I'm literally saying it's like, well, I got 3, I got 4, and then if I want to wait for stealth to do a playthrough with, then I can always play World. So who knows? But at some point, because we love us some Generations, and also like Adel Ka's probably not coming back in Wilds. So as far as a monster exclusive to Generations go, Adel Ka rules. So more good reasons to replay it.
The support ship is back. Did it bring me a commission ticket?
I heard...
by that, I mean a commission ticket, because he only brings one at a time.
Stealth, Nata heard from the others.
I don't care about Nata. I like vehemently hate Santiago.
The guy the guy with like the temporary shop shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking for something specific that he never brings?
The commission tickets, because that's the last fucking tree of the great swords that need to complete them all, and you need 3 of them, and he only brings one at a time.
Damn.
And then it takes a full in-game week for him to go and come back.
Where are you going? Can't you just print more?
It's the only way to get him in the game.
I did not know that. I am sorry to hear. I'm sorry for your loss.
They made so many choices in this game.
He made a lot of choices.
Yeah.
I will say again, I think it's high quality, but I am with Stealth that they made choices. So... One example of choices they've made in Monster Hunter Wilds: Wyvern milk. That was a choice they made. To call it that. I'm gonna be excited for the new update. I'll be streaming. I'm probably gonna play with like friends and stuff over the weekend, but I'll be streaming that stuff. Yeah. Even
being
more
released
than,
as a
yeah.
being released as a level 8 quest.
Which is, I mean, that's not too high, so you can.
What do you mean? That's as high as Arkveld and
Well, oh,
yeah, well, Arkveld.
I thought you were. I was about to. Well, give me a second. Let me form my words. I thought you were saying you have to be HR level 8 to access.
No, you have
the
to be
quest.
HR 45.
Yeah, I was about to. I was like, that doesn't sound right, but I trust them. So. Listen, he's one of the Fated 4. I want the entire Fated 4 back in one monster. You're just talking about Generations being goated. I don't even care if the only reason they're called the Fated 4 is because of like random quests you get where you fight all of them. I still want the whole Fated 4. Anyone who hasn't played Generations might be just like, what story ties these 4 monsters together? There is no story.
No, and
Just
it
fight
was
them.
better for it.
I will say, and you're gonna get upset at me for this, but
You're right.
listen, Generations is great. I really wouldn't change a thing about it. Well, no, I wouldn't change a thing about it. I was gonna talk about like the early game pacing, but it's whatever. But it's a big game, and like you just kind of hop in village to village, just just cause, and like it is fun, but I wouldn't mind in other Monster Hunters them being just like, here is story reason to go from place to place. Like Nada might be annoying. I unironically like how they pace out fights with like the story and everything in Wilds. So I'm not saying they need more story in Monster Hunter, but
man,
what's
I
up?
could not disagree more.
You don't like how the fights and story intertwine in Monster Hunter Wilds?
I don't like hour breaks between hitting a monster.
I never thought it was an hour, but maybe I need to replay the story.
Felt like it. Like, especially with the walking sections. Just like, Jesus
The
fucking
walking
Christ,
section
let me
is
do
always
something.
that needs to not be a thing. That needs to not be a thing in any game. But I can agree with that part. But
And there were so many of them.
one of them would have been too many of them, but no, that part I can agree with. But story in general, I'm not opposed to. Again, I do not think it should be any more prevalent than it is in Wilds. Scale that part back, almost certainly. But again, like, there's lots to do in Generations, and there isn't too much narrative tying it together, and that is fine in that game. But I do not mind the idea of giving in-game characters more in-game reason to go around and explore stuff. So, but that's me.
And this is gonna be like the hottest of my hot takes,
What's
probably, especially for the audience listening to your stream.
No one.
We
Go on.
don't make the pro tag silent again. Make the pro tag silent again.
That is a hot take. I don't necessarily disagree, because like the Hunter didn't need to speak at all in Wilds. He could have been as.
I don't like my character being forced to be like a stupid fucking action hero.
I think a lot of people did like that part of the story specifically, but I see what you mean. I'm not necessarily against it. If they were going to specifically pull back one part of the thing they did in Wilds, them making the Hunter completely silent again, that's fine. That probably for the best. So I thought it was cool, but that's me. That's me, and I didn't make my voice something stupid. So people maxing out all the voice numbers and then being surprised when their character sounds wacky. But yeah. No, I can't agree with stuff story should be scaled back in Monster Hunter, but I think they can do stuff with it that makes me be like, yeah, give it a shot in different ways. But I definitely don't think it's what Monster Hunter is for, and as such, even if it is in Monster Hunter 4, but
I'm not opposed to Monster Hunter having a good story.
what would you
I just have not seen that happen yet.
Damn. What's the thing, I like the story in Wilds as far as, like, going through the Forbidden Lands and trying to find Nata's home again. Arkveld, I do agree that Nata being dumb kid saying don't kill Arkveld when you definitely need to kill Arkveld
You understand, Arkveld is me while he's literally eating a corpse.
Yeah.
Just, like, viciously eating a corpse.
But in terms of, like, world building shit, yada yada yada, finding Zoshia, all of that shit, that I was into and stuff. Like, using it to discover a new world and learning about it, that I liked. So, and I would consider it as big a part of the narrative as was I thinking of as Nada being an idiot and trying not to get Arkveld killed. So. Yeah. Here's I don't think it's any secret that I don't hate Nata to the extent that that a lot of people do, but that doesn't mean I don't understand the fact that he is wildly annoying. So anyway, I think I'm gonna raid and go head out, get ready for work tomorrow and everything. I appreciate not a lot of art today as much as talking about games and shit, but I like doing that. I like doing that with friends and the people who bother stopping by. So appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week. Honestly, probably start next week on Monday with what's it called? Damn it. Why have I forgotten the name of the game we're talking about? Monster Hunter Wilds. So I want to rate Dan again because he's playing Crash 2. And speaking of go-to games, we love Crash Bandicoot around here. We love Ubadiga. So let's do that. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for coming on by, and I hope to see y'all later. Stealth, thanks for stopping by. You know I love hanging with friends on stream. I think it's a good time. I like seeing my friends. Anyway, I'll see y'all later. Bye!